Hi, I am Latoya Griffin, and I am a hopeful candidate for the Thrive Advisory position with UNC Chapel Hill. Today's assignment is to address three main questions during a dialogue with our second-year student, Mark, who's grappling with aligning his sexual identity with his spiritual identity. The questions are, what do I say and suggest to Mark? What do I do for Mark? And what resources can I provide? The first thing to do is to stop, focus, and listen. I'm going to stop any and all activities that are not directly related to Mark and his current issue. Next, I'm going to redirect my focus to Mark and listen. This allows Mark to express his concerns and gives him the space to vent or release his frustrations before moving forward. Next, I want to make sure Mark knows that I recognize the significance of our conversation and that I am honored that he chooses to share his experiences with me, and that while I may not understand everything he's experiencing at this time, I do commit to providing as much support as I can. I also want to let Mark know that there is nothing wrong, abnormal, or weird about his own desire to have a same-sex partnership. And hopefully this will reassure Mark and let him breathe a little easier as we navigate the conversation. I want to ask Mark a few questions about his belief system and allow him to describe his spiritual background so that I can better understand what he perceives as a misalignment between his sexual identity and his spiritual values. More than likely, the foundation of his belief system hinges on core principles like love, compassion, acceptance, and humility. And I do want to point out to Mark that he possesses all of these qualities, and his genuine desire to openly live an authentic life is in direct, complete alignment with his belief system after all. I want to encourage Mark to communicate with his family at his pace and in his own way. And if and when he is ready, I would suggest family counseling and/or individual counseling if they're willing. Next, I would draw Mark's attention to my Kit or my Keep in Touch board. The Keep in Touch board is a really cool tool that some former students and I developed, and I keep in each office that I work in. And so basically the purpose of this tool is a big board that highlights some of the upcoming events and social constructs such as game night, trivia, karaoke, or local concerts. I also like students to pin business cards from local businesses that embrace diversity and cater to diverse populations, so that people who visit my space can find new places to explore. And so as students come and go, they're welcome to pin their own favorite spots, because Franklin Street at 40 looks way different than it did to me at 22. So before Mark leaves, I would be certain to make sure that he had a clear direction on where he can seek additional support. And I would do this by providing him with information to access additional resources, such as key programs and centers like the school's LGBTQ plus center, as well as the University Office for Diversity and Inclusion. So the resources that I provide are going to be unique and tailored to the student's own needs and self-identity. So for example, given Mark's spiritual background, I would direct him to GPOF, or the Queer People of Faith. If he were Black, I would highlight the Queer and Trans People of Color, or QTPOC committee. And just throwing in a little plug, me as a basic scientist by training who openly identifies as bisexual would of course send a shameless shout out to OSTEM, or Out in Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. So identifying subgroups that are specific to the individual's needs would increase the likelihood, hopefully, of their engagement with the community at large. And finally, I want to remind Mark that this is a continuum and an ongoing journey, and I am very happy for him to include me in his journey. And I'd like to wrap up with next steps, and be sure to keep in touch with Mark in every way possible. Thank you for your time.